Hi, Anne. I'm going to be doing your reading. I know I've done readings for you in the past, so I won't explain how I usually do them because I know you've had them in the past. But the spread that I chose for you is a 12-card spread with the 13th clarification card at the end, and it's really freaking long. So if you'd like, I'd highly suggest grabbing a pen and a paper and kind of like write notes as I go along, or you could pause and ask me questions. But yeah, it's really long, and it took a lot of time last night to write all my notes. But I know you were having a specific question about love and finding the right person and that sort of thing, but I have to say I can't control what the cards say. I can't control what Spirit has to say. I just go off my gut instincts and write my notes as I go along. So if this reading doesn't touch base on what you were looking for, I do have another reading that I'm kind of working on. It's a different spread that has more to do with twin flames and soul searching and that sort of thing, and a character profile. So I have about 3 other spreads that I could try to do. But with this spread, I asked about your love life. I asked what's going on and why you're having so much trouble. So it touches base on that, not so much of who it's going to be, that sort of thing. Let me pause the video because Jude is making a bunch of noise. He might interrupt me. He's crazy, so he might come down here and interrupt me and that sort of thing. So hold on 1 second. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to get started. So this one is a 12-card spread with the 13th clarification card, and I didn't follow any guidelines to what each position in the spread means. I just kind of went with my gut instincts and didn't pay too much attention. The card spread that usually is the 12 card that I usually do for this is a zodiac, and it's 12-month period. So it goes January, February, March, April, May, June, and it goes in sequence to what's supposed to happen each month. But I kind of moved away from that and did my own thing and did not pay too much attention to what each card symbolizes, basically. And I kind of just did my own thing with this. So yeah, I am going to get started. So the first card that I pulled for you, and I want to make sure it is reversed. Now, reverse cards, before I get started, they mean multiple things. They could mean the opposite of what the card means. It could mean how you should feel. It could represent future events, or it could represent past events. It just depends on how the card lays in the reading, and as I'm going along, I will kind of try to explain how I feel that reverse, how it makes sense in the spread, basically. So the first card that I pulled for you is the 8 of Wands, and it is reversed. So again, upside down, it means multiple things. So yeah. So this is a card of change, pace of change. Hold on, let me grab my notes real quick. Okay. So change is speeding up. Don't be left behind. Unexpected voyage. So talking about travel and that sort of thing. Use teamwork. Positive time for action. Adventure. Energy is high. And then I don't know if you could see in the background, there is a castle in the back, and what this guy is doing is shooting these arrows in the sky, and he's trying to reach his goal. So that is the goal in mind, basically. So there's goals and targets to be reached or attained. May mark an end of a period of delay or frustration. It talks about traveling again. Dreams becoming reality, enthusiasm, optimism, regeneration, and since it is reversed, you're having a lot of frustrations, basically. You feel like you have worked so hard to reach this goal, this idea you have in mind, the perfect family, perfect relationship. You have this idea. So this is the idea. He's shooting for this idea, basically. And all these sticks are going all over the place, basically. And it feels like there's like a blockage happening. I don't know if that makes sense. I didn't get too much of that card, so let me move on to the next one and see if there's more that comes up for that one. So this one is also reversed. 10 of Wands, need to accept and learn limits, boundaries, carrying a heavy burden. It's blocking your view. So if you could see, he's holding this bundle of sticks all awkwardly, and they're blocking his view, and the view is the future, whatever is in front of him. So you have a lot of doubts and insecurities that's blocking your view from attaining your goal, basically. And it's talking about the goal in the first card, right? So it's blocking your view ahead. Blockages affect the future. So if you have any blockages, now blockages could be past issues, like things that you've been through that you're kind of holding on to this baggage, or emotionally, like if you've been through a traumatic experience in your past life. There's all these different blockages, and I could dive more into chakras and clearing chakras and past life regression and that sort of thing, but I will post that on my group because I think a lot of people could benefit from that. So remind me later. I will talk more about blockages and removing past life regressions and that sort of thing. But this card is talking about those blockages. Whatever you've been through in your past is creating this wall in front of you. It says to take responsibility for your own life path. You're free to let go of whatever is troubling you. He's holding on to these sticks all awkwardly, and he's not being forced to hold on to that, but he's able to let go whenever he chooses. But it feels like you are purposely holding on to this baggage, whatever it is, resentment, shame, all that negativity. I feel like something has happened that you are holding on to that, and it's affecting how you are in these new relationships. It says, take responsibility. You're free to let go. Boundaries have been ignored, which led to this burden. Warning about limitations. So it says boundaries have been ignored. Boundaries have been ignored. I don't know what that symbolizes to you, but when I read that, I immediately feel like either an ex or somebody has not respected boundaries, or either you or an ex hasn't respected boundaries. Like when you are in a relationship, you have certain boundaries that you do not cross, right? It feels like those boundaries were crossed, and it's created this bubble around you that you feel like either nothing could compare, or you're kind of scared to get into something new because you're scared of something like that happening again. But it's creating this stagnant energy around you that either you can't get past or people can't get through to get to you. So yeah, let me get to the next card and see if anything else comes up. Okay, so this one doesn't say it was reversed, so I'm going to assume that it was regular. So 9 of Wands, difficult times must be met with strength and determination. Dreams have been bent or damaged, but you still are standing. Reserve your strength and courage. You'll be tested, I think. My chicken scratch is hard to read. I write really fast when I do my notes, so it's hard to read my notes sometimes. So it says, you'll be tested, I think. Discipline and control are necessary. So clearly he's building a wall around himself. You see all the wands or the rods behind him. He's clearly building this wall, this structure in front of him that nobody else could penetrate. And it feels like whatever you went through, you're holding that resentment and that fear, and it's kind of holding it, blocking people from coming in. I think Jude went outside. Okay, so the next card is the Temperance card, and she is reversed. Moderation, a successful blend, union of opposites, successful partnerships, need for cooperation, time to work with others in a collaborative way, sharing and pooling resources and experiences, support one another, compromise. Compromise lies at the heart of every successful relationship. Both parties working together need to share feelings openly instead of running away. So I don't know if you... So your post was talking about wanting to find, a good person, and you're kind of sick of all these deadbeats, basically. But I don't know if this card represents somebody that you recently tried to start a relationship with, or if it's representing how you should have an outlook on relationships, that you should be open-minded, and that you should take a chance, basically, that not all relationships are perfect, but to find the perfect relationship, there has to be compromise from both people working together, being open and honest about your past experiences, basically laying a good foundation. Just lay it out on the table. This is what I expect in a relationship, and if you can't come and meet me at this level, then you have no business with me, basically. So the Temperance card usually means a successful blend. That's exactly the definition of temperance, is that equal parts. Everyone is equal in the relationship. There's no combativeness. There isn't. It's a cohesive blend, basically. It talks about sharing and pooling resources, experiences, supporting one another, compromise. Yeah, it feels like either you had a person that you were talking to, but I think you put your standards up so high because of this past life issue that it's creating this negative force around you, that it's like you need to break that down and take down your walls and not hold on to that. Let's see. Oh, okay. So the Four of Cups, darling. Okay. So I can see what's going on here. He is being offered tons of opportunities. You see there's 3 cups down here, and one is actually being handed to him. But he's just sitting here. I don't know if you could actually see, but he's just sulky and depressed, and let's see, boredom, options, world weariness, tedium. Things are tedious and repetitive, and it just feels like there's a never ending, like everyone's just the same, like that attitude that you can't get over, basically. Refusing anything that's offered. Sulky, dissatisfaction, abundance of possibilities being offered, but the figured makes no attempt to reach out to any of them. Discontent, displeasure, it comes from within. Time for soul searching to gain further perspective. So I don't think that I don't want to say it's negativity on your part at all, but it feels like you have been through so much that you've kind of put your heart, you're guarding your heart, and it's not that you don't have all these options. You have plenty of options in front of you, but your standards are so high, and rightfully so. You should have high standards, but at the same time, in a relationship, in any healthy relationship, there's compromise from both people. And it feels like these issues that are coming up is still things that have to do with your past and not letting go and holding on to that, and it's suffering. It's making you suffer. Let's see what this next card is. So 7 of Wands reversed. Competition, rivalry, jealousy, putting guard up, keeping wits about you. Keeping wits about you due to past experiences. Need for courage and determination. High standard is set. More demand is a result. So you're setting this demand and this standard for what you want in a relationship, and rightfully so. You deserve what you want in a relationship. But again, if you were to have a successful relationship, you still have to be open-minded. And with this card, it's telling me that your goals or your expectations in a relationship aren't being met. That you're constantly raising your standards, that no one is going to be good enough, basically. That since you've been through this experience, whatever it may be, and this talks about rivalry and jealousy and competition. So I feel like your past relationship is creating this jealousy, is creating this animosity, that's creating this rivalry and competition, that you see your ex with a bunch of people, with, I don't know if it's more than one person or just one person, but you see them together, and it's creating this jealousy and standard and anxiety that you need somebody in your life to make you happy, basically. And the more you do that, the more energy you focus on the negative. Oh, here's another card. So this one, darling. Okay, so this one is holding on. Let's see. This is the 4 of Pentacles. Fear of loss, fear of change, fear of letting go, holding on too tightly. It inhibits future gain. You've been robbed emotionally. You're putting up a wall between you and others, emotionally and physically detaching yourself. When you emotionally and physically detach yourself from the rest of the world, it increases loneliness and fear. Without trust or a willingness to take a risk, no gains can be made. Anxieties and suspicions, fear. Oh, excuse me. It's talking about the anxiety and suspicions. Fear is an inhibitor of growth. It is vital to tackle the source in order to get energy to flow again. So you're asking, when are you going to find this person that's meant for you, right? Well, there's a lot of inner struggles going on. It feels like you need to deal with those blockages. And I'm sorry, it sounds like what those other ladies were saying, that you need to deal with yourself and fix yourself, love yourself, da 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 da. I don't want it to be about that. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's more like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to say right now. It's at one point they are right that you have to love yourself before you can love somebody else. But that doesn't mean that you don't deserve love. It doesn't mean that at all, that you feeling broken isn't deserving of love, because you are so lovable. But it's more like you personally will not be satisfied until you let go. And this card is talking about all those fears of being left behind and emotionally robbed and that sort of thing. It's up to you to let go of those fears and clear out all the junk, get over it, and let go. You know, forgive. There's that saying that when you forgive somebody, it's not for them, it's for you, so you could have inner peace, right? That you could finally rest your head at night and say, I know I did not do anything to deserve that, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay now that he could do whatever he wants, that's his prerogative, and if that's how their relationship is based off of, more power to them. But if that's how their relationship is based off of, like, see, I don't know if he cheated. If he cheated, that's where I'm going. If he cheated, then their relationship is already off at a bad start, right? Because they're basing it off of what's that word? Infidelity, or not infidelity, but you know what I mean. If you base your relationship off of bad morals like that, then obviously that's not a good start in a relationship. So at one point you have to realize that you did nothing wrong. You are a great person. You're a good mom. You're a good wife, and you didn't deserve that. Whatever you went through, you do not deserve that. And that's what this is talking about. You're holding on to that emotionally. It's emotionally stunting you and your next relationships. You're holding back because of all that shit that he put you through, right? Let's see. Okay, so this next one is the Five of Swords. Need to work within limits, accepting restrictions, and moving on. Painful situation. Now, I don't know if you can see, but there's two people moving on. That's them. Okay? This is you. Two people moving on, yet the man in the front alone is prosperous and victorious. Each have its costs. Everyone has their loss or gain from the situation. The ex flaunting is the ex flaunting a new relationship? That's what it feels like. Opportunity for self-evaluation or evaluation of the situation. Now the image equals a defeat and a victory. Think of your position in light of both possibilities. Sometimes the best course of action is to swallow pride and walk away. So, either way you look at the situation, if he would have stayed, do you want to be with somebody that doesn't appreciate you? No. Fuck him. Stop. So basically, if you stayed, it would have been bad. If you guys broke up, you still feel that pain, but you don't have to deal with this shit anymore, right? Well, like, let go of it. If that's what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do, right? Let me go back. It says, each have its costs. Everyone has either lost or gained something from the situation. So, what did he lose? He lost you. You were an amazing person. And it's his loss, totally. But that shouldn't affect how you lead the rest of your life, basically. That you need to take control and say, screw it, this isn't what I want for my life anymore. You don't want his crap to affect you anymore. Okay, so this one is pretty fun. Seven of Swords. Diplomacy, tact, avoiding aggressive or assertive behavior, fleeing. Planning, actions carefully. Now, in this picture, it's not clear if he's taking the swords, if these swords belong to him, or if he's actually taking them, stealing them from the tent back there. It's not clear. Lack of clarity. Guilt and stealth indicates deception, dishonesty, kindness, and discretion. Learn from mistakes and move on. So immediately when I saw this card, I immediately got the gut instinct that you need to think of the pros and cons of the situation, that you need to accept and move on, basically. That you need to think of, okay, he gave, what did you learn from this situation? Yeah, cheaters suck. Did he cheat? It keeps coming up in my brain that he cheated, and that's why it's creating all this negative energy with you, that you're looking for somebody that isn't going to do that to you, or you have this idea in your head that you're trying to picture the perfect relationship and that sort of thing. But it feels like with this card that you need to learn from that situation and take what you can from it and let go. Let's see. Okay. Ace of Wands, energy, passion, creativity, excitement, fire, important new beginnings, creative imagination, positive results. Now, I don't know if you could see in the very background, there's another castle. So this castle represents promise of potential. It is a way, this goal is way off. It feels like there's a lot of time between now and when you'll find that one person that you want to be with. It feels like there's a lot of time in between now and then, but this is a really positive card. It is a way off, offers hope and a goal to reach for. Powerful rush of energy for something new. Dreams can be achieved if the right effort and work is put in. So given all the cards that I just read and then pulling this card, it feels like what those ladies said, that there is a lot of inner things that you need to work out and focus on before you need to heal. You need to heal yourself, your mind, body, and spirit, and gradually step back into the dating scene. I think it's been a while. I think it's been a while since you guys been divorced. The last time I talked to you, you were in Arizona, and then you came back. But it feels like there was a lot of time already that you guys have been apart, that you guys haven't been together, but it feels like you're still struggling with what he did. And because of that, it feels like with all the other cards that came up, plus the other ladies that did the reading, it just feels like there's a lot of inner things that you need to work on before you could reach that next goal. Okay, so the Justice card. Now, this, when I immediately see any kind of women figure in a reading, I immediately think of strong, independent women. That's just my gut instinct when I look at cards. So that was the first instinct that I pulled that I saw when I pulled this card. But the meaning behind this, the Judgment card is rational thought, impartial judgment, fairness, equilibrium of the mind, finding a balance, mental clarity, need for the mind to seek logical solutions. Now, each color in this card, all the colors mean something. They're a symbolism for something. So the red equals passion and desire. The green in her dress equals, healing and love. Now, both of those colors work together to bring harmony. And the purple, the curtain behind her or whatever, the purple equals wisdom to make good judgment, impartial mind, without judgment. Could also mean legal things coming up. So I don't know if you have any legal battles happening right now, or if you have anything in the court system that you're working on, but it's talking about legal things coming up. I don't know if this is with your ex or with your car accident. I know you were in a car accident, but that's coming up. But to me, this card represents how you should treat your relationships if you want to continue looking for a new relationship and that sort of thing. You can't let your past issues affect how you treat other people or your other relationships. You can't compare them, basically. That it feels like with all these other cards that you've been comparing your relationships with your ex, and it's creating that tension, and you're kind of suspicious, like, ooh, I need to check your phone and that sort of thing. Well, this card tells me that you need to think mentally clear. You need to not pass judgment. Keep an open mind, basically unbiased. That if you were to have a successful relationship, that you need to have all that anger and aggression towards your ex and refer that somewhere else, a healthier resource, and not take it out on your new people. This next card, it doesn't look too pretty, but it is a positive card. So as you can see, he is stabbed to death, basically. Everything's really dark up here, but if you can see over here, light is shining through. So this is, even though it looks really dark and scary and like death, it's actually a really positive card. Ten of Swords, end of a situation, promise is something positive in the future, new beginnings, hope. It says rebirth after a very painful ending of a situation, change in direction. Something has outlived its purpose or its usefulness. Time to learn from it and move on. Welcome relief. And it also indicates falseness and trickery, liberation from illusion and deception, new life and light. So everything that you went through, it feels like it's going to come to an head. Something's just going to click, and you're going to see a brighter future, basically. That you're not going to, every time that you think of him, it's not going to affect you as much. You need to get to that point where it's like, okay, whatever, fuck him, basically. But it talks about hope. So there's a good things in that card. Okay, so the last and final card is my clarification card. This is the Page of Swords. Now, pages are messengers, and they're also relating to children and that sort of thing. But this page, youthful intelligence, quick mind, potential for idle gossip, something new in the distance. And then, I don't know if you see, but there's dark clouds, that sort of thing. That is past issues, or could represent strife ahead. This card represents the mind, new beginnings, interest in something yet done, something that you have yet to challenge yourself at, something new, something yet formed, new potential, it could also represent destructive talk. So overall, it feels like, not in a negative way, but it feels like that you're creating this kind of animosity in your relationships that you need to kind of let go and heal, and then take baby steps. And just keep in mind that not all relationships, no one is perfect. I'm not perfect, you're not perfect. No one in the whole world is perfect. And yeah, it's good to set standards and goals for yourself, but at the same time, you need to be willing to compromise. Only to a certain point, though. Like, what they're deserving. So, if he's willing to compromise, then you're willing to compromise. Meet in the middle. Not you doing all the work, all the effort. I keep getting a tickly hair on my lip. So yeah. I hope this has answered some of your questions. I'm sorry if it's not really what you're looking for. As stated before, I do have other spreads that I could try to do for you to figure out who it is, what he looks like, his personality, your personality, that sort of thing. I have different spreads I could try, but I wanted to send you this one and kind of give you insight to why it feels like what's causing, because if you keep jumping into relationship to relationship without fixing the main issue that you're going through, then it's never going to change. It's never going to work out because there's still deep-rooted things going on. Now, I don't know. In some of the cards, I got the gut instinct that it wasn't just one guy that kind of fucked you over. It feels like there was multiple relationships that happened in the past that kind of led to this. It wasn't just one person. I feel like you've been through a roller coaster of a life, basically, but it feels like you honestly won't find the perfect relationship until you kind of deal with those issues. Not in a negative way, but in a healthy way. Basically building, like when you build a house, you need to have a good firm foundation, basically. And you need to lay the concrete and make sure that the house isn't built on sand. There is a quote in the Bible about building a house on sand. So with that, I feel like that's what you need to do, is kind of take baby steps, heal yourself, love yourself, and then baby steps into a relationship and come flat out, this is who I am, this is what I've been through. If this isn't what you're looking for, then we need to go our separate way, basically. That you need to put that out there. Yeah, so let me know if this makes sense. I will try to do another reading tonight, I think. After Jeff gets home, I will see if I could do another reading. If not, it will probably be a couple days since the holiday's coming up. But yeah, let me know. Bye!